Hey friends, I want to make a video about Buddhist right speech because this practice has been so important to me and so useful and so powerful and so pragmatic that I'm really bullish on telling people about it and wanting people to try it and give it a go. For one thing, it's made my days a lot easier where I'm happier because I'm proud of the things I say. But also another important thing, and this is part of why I'm so bullish on sharing it, is it's made my experience of the internet so much more enjoyable, is like practicing Buddhist right speech. And I think I should say right from the start that Buddhist right speech is a voluntary practice. It's, sometimes people get kind of the ick from that phrase of right speech, of be like, oh, someone else is going to tell me what to say or not to say, like associate it with like political stuff. That's not the point. The point is it's a voluntary practice that you choose to do for yourself because you see that it would be a good thing to do. You see the benefit of it. And also, you don't have to be a Buddhist to do it. The Buddhists had a lot of things figured out, and this is one of them. And I think anyone can benefit from this as a practice, even if they're not interested in Buddhism, even if they don't identify as a Buddhist. I don't even know if I identify as a Buddhist these days. I'm just a weird guy, but I have found this particular practice incredibly valuable, and so I want to talk about it and what it is. The claim is that there are 5 qualities of speech that make a speech act or an act of writing or what have you a noble or good or excellent one. They make it right, noble, excellent, good, right, whichever word you want to use, that it's appropriate, fitting speech. And then if those qualities are not there, then it's not right speech. It's not noble, it's not excellent, it's not appropriate, it's not good. And basically, you try to say things that have these 5 qualities. Ideally, they have all 5. And then if you say something that afterwards you're like, I know I've had this experience a billion times in my life where I was like, oh, that was weird, or wow, I feel bad that I said that, or someone else is like, I don't like that you said that, that hurt me, or that didn't work for me, or whatever. Then you can review the thing that you said and look at those 5 qualities, and often you'll find at least one, if not several of them, were off. It's like, oh yeah, that wasn't that. It didn't have that quality. So from a logical perspective, it's that each of these qualities are necessary for beautiful, excellent, noble, good, right speech. And you should learn what these qualities are and practice them in your speech, in your writing, in your communications. And I've done that for years. I think especially starting in 2021, maybe 2020, I started practicing these qualities and trying to write in accordance with them when I was writing online, when I was writing tweets or newsletters, and also in my communications and in my speech when I was having conversations. And both trying for them proactively as I speak, as I write, and then if I write something or say something that I'm like, oh, that wasn't really that wholesome, then reviewing it and being like, oh, which qualities did it not have? So what are these qualities? Well, the first one is one that a lot of people care about already, which is truth. Is what you're saying accurate? Are you stating a truth? Like, I am a man, or I live on planet Earth. If I tried to say I am a woman, or I live on Mars, those things would not be factual. My name is George. That's not factual. My name is Tashin. That's factual. So you try to say something that's true or accurate. And a lot of people in Western culture already care about truth. They already care, hey, yeah, it matters that you say things that are true and not lie and not say falsity. And I think rationalists tend to care about this, like scientifically minded people care about this. There's the radical honesty people who've really got this figured out. They're like, yeah, honesty matters. You should say the truth, and it matters that you say the truth. So that's necessary for right speech, that what you say is true and accurate, but it's not sufficient. There are 4 other qualities that you also need. So just having radical honesty at all costs is not right speech. Just because something is true doesn't mean you should say it, or just because you say something true doesn't mean it's a beautiful, excellent, noble, appropriate, right thing to say. There's better or worse ways to say the truth if you do need to say it. So then the second quality is useful or beneficial. Is this a useful thing to say? Is this going to benefit someone? Is this going to be furthering our conversation or helpful to someone? Something that could be true but not helpful to say. And this like all of these requires practice of like noticing, hey, was that actually useful or was that not useful? I think this connects to the quality of impartiality in view in the art of accomplishment stuff of like, one is, am I saying this for the other person, for their benefit, or am I saying this for myself? Am I saying this with some agenda? Is there some partiality here? And if you're just saying it for yourself, if it's not really helpful to someone else, then if it doesn't help them in their life or benefit them or benefit the world in some way, then it's not a useful thing to say. And so it's not right speech. It could be true, but not useful, not beneficial. Then the next two qualities are similar but distinct, which is, first off, are the words kind? And there are also a lot of people in the West who tend to care about this. Not everyone, but like, oh yeah, saying nice, kind things. And are the words kind? So this means not swearing at someone or not saying something cruel to them that's, the words are very hurtful and hateful, that your words are kind, that they're measured, that they're fitting and kind, that the words are kind. But then the next quality is related to this but distinct, which is, what is the state of mind that you're in? And in particular, is that kind? So you could have kind words but actually be inwardly furious, inwardly angry, inwardly hateful, and that would not be right speech if you spoke from that place, even if the words are kind. If your state of mind is actually hateful, manipulative, aggressive, you want to have a kind state of mind where you're viewing self, other, and world with love. And metta practice is really good for this, for cultivating a loving state of mind where you're seeing self, other, and world in a kind, beautiful, generative way. And often this is the hardest one for me these days, where I can say something that's true and useful and kind in the words, but then afterwards I'm like, oh, my state of mind was actually not entirely wholesome. Like, it might not be full on hate or something, but there was something icky underneath that I was saying it from. And so this is the one that I'm working on the most these days. And the last quality is traditionally called timely. Is it the right time to say something? Is it the appropriate time? I have found it useful to have sort of a liberal translation of this as context aware. And so that would include timeliness. Is this the right time to say it? But also, is it written speech or is it spoken? Is it private speech or is it public speech? Who is it around? In what context is it in? What is the mood or state of mind that the other person or people are in? Is that the right moment to speak to them about this thing? And you could have a speech act that's true and useful and has kind words and a kind state of mind, but it's just not reading the room at all, and you're saying it at the wrong time, in the wrong place, or the wrong venue, or you said it in a recorded conversation when it should have been unrecorded. You said it in a public place when it should have been private, etc. And there's a lot of nuance here that I've had to learn over the years, almost really developing attunement to different facets of social skills. But I feel pretty confident about this one, of like what I should say publicly or what I should say privately or what I should say to this person or what I should say to that person. There's always further development to be had with all these qualities, but yeah, those are the 5 qualities, and consistently practicing them, trying to have my speech and writing and even my thoughts in accordance with these qualities, and cultivating thoughts that are of these qualities, speech acts that are of these qualities, writing that have these qualities, and then reviewing them afterwards and seeing, oh yeah, did that really have that? Actually, I was missing this one, has been so valuable to me and so beautiful and so generative. And I think a lot of people often look at, say, my Twitter profile and are like, how do you have such a good time and say things in such a beautiful way, in a way that is so generative and kind of doesn't cause as much conflict as a lot of other areas of Twitter. And for me, this specific practice has helped me to participate online in a way that I'm really proud of, that I feel like is generative for discussion, is connecting with people. And I also really enjoy exploring the limits of this. Like, for example, I think you can swear and still have it be Buddhist right speech, because you're not saying something unkind necessarily, and your state of mind doesn't need to be unkind. Or you can talk about uncomfortable things or taboo things and still have it be right speech. Like, I love to talk about sex, for example, because that's an important part of life, and it's important to me, but there's more or less wholesome ways to talk about that. And I love kind of exploring the edges and the territory of this and seeing what's possible to say in a wholesome way that is even of benefit. So I like, trying to keep my speech within this, but also exploring the limits of it and even messing up sometimes and being like, oh, actually, I could see why I thought that would be okay, but it wasn't okay. And here's what I learned from that. And that just means more and more my speech acts, the things that I say verbally, on these videos or in private conversations or in whatever context, or the things that I write are speech acts that I'm proud of, that I'm like, yeah, that's beautiful, noble, and excellent, and it is good. And I'm proud of who I am and what I'm saying and how that impacts other people. And there's a kind of integrity that comes online when you have these constraints. That's such a common finding in art, for example, is that when you have constraints, that frees you in a way to have more beautiful things. And so I've found the same thing for my speech and my writing, that by aspiring to stay within these qualities, I say things and write things that I think are more beautiful, more noble, more excellent, that I'm more proud of. So I'd be curious to hear, if you give it a go, what your experience of Buddhist right speech has been. If you have any thoughts or feelings about that, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm also going to link to my article about Buddhist right speech in the description, so you can go read about it. It links out to various sutras that talk about it, and they'll have that as a resource is available as well. In the meantime, I am sending you lots of love.